How you doing?
Morning, sir.
Morning. If you'd state your name for the record, who you represent, and your position.
My name is Jeff Lyons. I work for an organization called Young Americans for Liberty. I'm an 8-year Navy veteran, disabled veteran.
And your position on the bill.
I'm here to support HB 2701, Defend the Guard.
Okay, go ahead.
Sure. My name is Jeff Lyons. I am a U.S. Navy disabled veteran, having served 8 years with 2 sea combat deployments on board USS Ronald Reagan. Was not born in Texas, but I got here as soon as I could. Originally from Boston, the cradle of liberty, home of America's first militia National Guard units, Minuteman companies. Minuteman companies which responded famously to local threats and emergencies with only a moment's notice. In order for any militia, or in this case, the Texas National Guard, to be able to respond to threats, disasters, problems in their own communities, it's important that they remain embedded in their community and not siphoned off by the federal government to fight wars on the other side of the world. Especially wars which I believe we have no real national interest, no congressional approval, and no constitutional authority currently to fight in the first place. Those troops that do make it home are committing suicide by the thousands every year. A result of being overworked, stressed out, disillusioned while fighting a war that has no tangible victory, no definition. And we're just coming home wondering what the hell we're fighting for. Over the past 100 years, National Guard has gradually become just another branch of the Department of War. To the extent that Texas does have its own Texas Guard to serve the purpose the National Guard was originally supposed to do. Generations of precedent allowing bad behavior by federal politicians is not an excuse to allow it to continue sliding in the wrong direction for another 100 years. It is absolutely imperative that we hold the U.S. Congress accountable to their sole power to make and declare war, not to allow them to defer that prerogative away to the executive branch. Failing that, it is imperative that you, the representatives of the citizens of Texas, tell Washington, D.C., keep their hands off of Texas, including our National Guard. To quote a great New England statesman, Daniel Webster, "It will be the solemn duty of the state governments to protect their own authority over their own militia and to interpose between their citizens and arbitrary power by the federal government." That is what we're calling on you to do today, is to interpose between the arbitrary power of the federal government and their extreme overreach in usurping Texas National Guard for undeclared, unconstitutional wars and protect the sovereignty of Texas. Because we need our Texas National Guard here in Texas. Recently, several natural disasters, including most recently a winter storm, knocked out electricity in the majority of the state. More than 100 people died freezing. I know how to drive in the snow, but I was not going out in that weather. And like most people, was not prepared for a whole week with no power, no water, no groceries. And I can't imagine what the elderly, the sick, and more vulnerable people than I were doing during that week. So I am thankful that the National Guard was there, available to set up warming stations and help with infrastructure problems, clearing roads, whatever they could do in order to make things more accessible for those types of people. But I want you to think about the next time when we're dealing with a major natural disaster, a pandemic, hurricanes, things of that nature here in Texas. Do we want our troops standing at the ready, or do we want them standing in an armpit halfway around the world? I would say that we need to have our National Guard here prepared, ready and fresh, and not on the other side of the world. And especially when we're deploying them in support of these wars, we're putting them at further risk of joining that 22 veteran suicides a day statistic. So I hope that you would please support HB 2701.
Thank you very much. Members, any questions? Thank you. Sure. Mr. Biederman.
Thank you, Chairman. All I can say is amen. Everything you said. You go back to our founding fathers. You just go back to our Constitution. And we just look at the situation that's happening in our country right now. And I just really believe Texas needs to lead in this. And we can't do it out of fear of what might happen to us. we need to stand up as Texas. And I appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any other questions? Thank you very much for your service and for your testimony today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.